time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think. Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings, Cretans. Yeah, it's good to be here.
With the massive crowd that has gathered.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hold it down. We want everyone to be able to hear what we're saying. I know you guys are having a great time, yes? Yeah, I knew you would. There is no better beer event in the world, and I've said this before many times, and it bears repeating. There is no better beer event in the world than this conference.
That's right.
Especially if you are a brewer, which pretty much 90% of the people here are brewers, and then they drag along, somebody who isn't, but, hey, we put up with those people.
Taylor, and Taylor.
Yeah, non-brewer, right back there, yeah. We dragged him along with us, Porno Steve, yeah. Yeah, that is Porno Steve there.
That's the famous mustache.
That's the famous from the Texas Crack Wrangler movie. Yes, that is Porno Steve. So I am, as always, having an amazing time.
Me too.
Having fun. It's just, it's like seeing,
You're having such a good time, you're blushing.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit, if people are like, you look like you got a little bit of sun. Yeah, I've been on the roof of the brewery for the past 2 weeks. No, I was telling somebody, well, why were you up there? Well, I was trying to build up the nerve to jump off, but I was up there working on the glycol chilling system.
Oh, yes,
for,
very important.
The brewery. Yes. Our original system is now 4 years of very hard running to keep up with what we're doing, and it's going to die at any time, so we need to get the new system online, get it all plumbed in. And it was 2 weeks of very brutal on a roof that is white, like the top of this table.
Oh, wow.
And so the sun just reflects. My wife's like, why don't you wear a hat? I'm like, a hat isn't going to do any good because the sun is coming like right off the ground. And, you just get crispy fried in all the wrong places.
You wear tight shorts, right?
Yes, the tightest. And then you wet them. So the leather shrinks, and it makes it really tight.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to burn there.
No, you don't want to burn there. Yeah. You don't want to burn there.
I think of these things.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I don't know what time of the day you think about these things, Palmer, but you do think about these things.
Are you having a good time, Justin?
I'm having a great time. This is a good year for me because I don't have very much to do.
No governing committee?
No governing committee, which, of course, I enjoyed my tenure. But
that's what you're supposed to say, yes.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it more now.
Now that you don't have to do it anymore.
Sadly, we didn't have our BN anniversary party this year,
right.
Which does bum me out. It's the first time we've ever missed it in our whole existence, but also it made for less work.
Yep.
You drank anyways last night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It pretty much was a party.
It was a party, yeah. We had a nice time. Went to the bull and the bush or something, the boar and the whore. What is it, Bevo? The butcher and the boar. And they had a lager festival going on and drank some really good beer there.
Nice.
Indeed Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're out here, right? They're a local brewery. Their Pilsner was really very good.
Yeah.
So you get a chance to try that.
They're pouring here on the show floor, too.
Oh, they are? Okay. Yeah. Their beer was really awesome. And what else did I have? Something from Surly, of course. I had their Surly Hell.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a Hella Hot or Hell something where it was like a spicy Hellas.
Oh,
they
nice.
put some sort of peppers in there or something.
Yes.
I avoided that. I just read the description. Yeah.
Right.
But their Hellas was real good.
August Shell, they're right over here.
I had a Shell beer, too. I had the Shell Pills.
Those are always good.
Yeah. Maybe I had everything. I think I had one of everything. So, yes, I'm enjoying myself.
I was just talking to my friend Jace over at August Shell, and they've been around 157 years.
Wow.
So Fuller's, we're all, I love Fuller's, and I was at Fuller's in 173 years.
Wow.
And I was like, how amazing. And then to think, you think like there are no breweries in the U.S. that old. 157 years of brewing at
the only
August
thing
Show.
I can think of that is that old in America is Tasty. Tasty's about that old.
Tasty was one of the first brewers.
Humans, I think.
One of the first brewers at August Show was Tasty.
Yeah, that is really impressive.
He was putting dog hair into the beers.
Way back then.
Way back then, 157 years ago.
I mean, what's the other? Yingling is the other oldest one, right?
Right. Yeah. So August Show's the second oldest brewery in the United States.
Wow. That's really impressive. And they're still making great beer.
And the same location, too.
Really?
Yeah. Original location,
See,
beer garden and everything.
I'm going to be tired of hearing all these new-fangled craft brewers complaining about outgrowing their space and I need a new location. And Michelle's been there the whole time.
Right. Or, trendy new breweries. So they resurrected these Cypress Fooders. They're like 140 barrels apiece.
Wow.
That's what they used to lager their beer in, their lagers there.
Okay.
And Jace, he was like, I'm going to reuse these things. And so got them cleaned up and refitted out to where they wouldn't leak anymore. And,
wow.
That's what they do their sours in now. And they've got this amazing tasting room that they set up with the fooders, and they're doing their really nice Berliner Weiss series. They've got some here today.
Beautiful.
While we're checking out. You would enjoy them.
Okay. I like the sour beer. I'll go check it out.
Yes.
Very good. And how many years have you been coming to this now?
My first one was in, somebody says it was Dallas.
Okay,
I thought
I
that
missed
it was
that one.
Houston or something. 160 people or something like that.
Okay. That's what I was walking around. I was kind of feeling old because I remember when it was just a small room. And even all the vendors are so grown up now. Every vendor just had like a table and a banner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, and whatever. Of course, they had cool stuff, but it on a table and a banner. And of course, now you got Blickman over there with the world's most technologically advanced booth I've ever seen.
Yep.
And
they're going to launch a rocket from it a little later today.
Are they?
Yes.
That's great.
Northern Brewer with the tallest booth here.
Yep, it is. That's true. It's changed a lot. It's really cool to be here, though. And you've missed a couple years now, haven't you, Jamil? So
yes.
Working too hard.
This disease called a brewery.
Yeah.
That has infected me and kept me from really doing anything else.
I keep saying to you, if I were you,
yes,
I would get bought out. I'd be begging to get bought out.
Just wave me the check of $1 billion. I'm there.
Seriously, there's no qualms about that, right? Any of these brewers, I don't know. What is there to know? That's a $1 billion check. Jamil's out of here. We'll never hear from him again.
$1 billion. No, you'll see me every day. I'll be at every conference. I'll come over to your house. We'll hang out and brew. I'll bring the ingredients. I'll have the money,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just spend my time farting around homebrewing.
No, you wouldn't still homebrew.
Oh, I'd go back to homebrewing, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Then I'd have time.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
I just started up again, really. I brewed last week. Actually fermenting this time. Not just getting some numbers. And
yeah,
pH.
what do you talk? Normally you're just testing?
Normally I'm just testing.
Okay.
Normally
Get
John
numbers.
doesn't bother with that fermentation crap. That's why I answer the fermentation
Fermentation's
questions.
hard.
Yeah.
And he just,
When you're
like
John
that.
Palmer, you don't have to ferment. It just turns into beer.
Yes, that's right.
So you're actually fermenting beer right now?
Yes.
What did you make?
Northeast IPA.
Okay.
New England IPA, whatever you want to
Jumping on that bandwagon, Palmer.
Bandwagon jumper.
Well, I thought I'd create a recipe and try it. I mean, Jamil and I have been talking about it, maybe doing a show on that at some point. And
Sure.
It's like, I've been crapping on this style for long enough. I should actually try something.
Okay.
Make it myself.
Crap on it by brewing one.
Yeah. And I like the recipe I came up with, and
right.
tasted real good going into the fermenter. So we'll see.
What?
Well, you didn't throw any yeast in there because that would have been the fermentation.
Oh no, I
of
did.
it.
I
You did
used-
this time.
Yeah, I used the London 3 like everybody recommends.
Don't you have to put more hops in while it's fermenting? Isn't that part of the New England style?
That is, but I had to travel quickly to Michigan to see my folks, so I figured, okay, whirlpool and then dry hop when I get home.
I've actually tried that with same wort, same yeast, and same amount of hops, but move some of the hops into when it's fermenting or towards the end of fermentation, and then others only after fermentation.
Okay.
And the after fermentation, everybody liked that better.
Really?
Yeah. The ones where you put the hops in during fermentation.
Sure.
Just wasn't as hoppy, and it had a little bit more bitterness to it.
Oh, interesting.
So, I don't know.
You always got to do those tests.
Yep.
That would be a good triangle test beer. Is just even make sure you can taste the difference.
Right.
You know?
Everybody picked it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we're like, we're not going to do that crap. So.
Has Heretic made one of these beers for the public?
We made one.
Okay.
Make America juicy again.
Nice. Very well done.
It's in a silver can with, just like a plain silver can with a mailing label on it.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Craft. That's true craft right there, man.
That is
Hand
very
label.
cool. Yeah, I love your marketing department, Jamil.
Yeah, well, that's me. All right, let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we come back, John, I want to hit a couple of questions that we thought were good. And if you in the audience have questions, I'll tell you what. You could come up, ask a question. We can answer it for you right now. Like, no waiting. Has to be a question generally about beer or brewing, I think.
Yeah.
And not too sexually suggestive. We're not sure about the audience.
So if anybody has a metallurgy corrosion question, I can also address those.
Or Palmer can also answer all the questions about walleye.
Yes. Walleye.
Oh, walleye. No, you really haven't lived until you had some walleye.
That's right.
With Palmer. You got to have walleye with Palmer.
Got to have the walleye.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back right after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing, and like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hey guys, what'll it be?
I'm not sure. What do you recommend?
A lot of people seem to like the Hefeweizen.
Is that a German Hefeweizen or more of an American-style wheat beer?
I'm not sure, but I can give you a taste.
Okay, great.
The Cicerone Certification Program certifies and educates beer professionals in order to elevate the beer experience for consumers. Unfortunately, not every bar is staffed with certified beer servers who can guide their customers through a beer list.
Here you go, guys. Let me know what you think of the Hefeweizen.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely more of an American meat. But I can hardly tell because this beer just smells like sour butter. I wonder how long it's been since they cleaned the draft lines.
Yeah, and look at the bubbles on the side of the glass. It's filthy.
Somebody should tell these guys about the Cicerone program.
For sure. How about we head somewhere else for another beer?
Your server should give beer the same respect you do. Request quality. The Cicerone Certification Program offers 4 levels of beer certification, in-person classes, and course books for beer professionals. Check them out at cicerone.org. The Cicerone Certification Program. We know beer.
Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. New at Williams is the innovative line of Intertap forward-sealing beer faucets with interchangeable spouts, as well as a new grain mill motorizing kit that features a gear motor that spins your mill at the correct 180 RPM without the need for hazardous belts. Also new is the Mark II wort pump, a magnetic drive high-temperature pump that starts at only $69.99 but does the job of pumps costing twice as much. Other exclusives include their Brewer's Edge mini regulators in many configurations, as well as their exclusive line of Keg King kegs and Keg King disconnects. Go to williamsbrewing.com to browse their vast selection. From now until September 30th, enter web coupon NETWORK at checkout with any order of $75 or more and get a free Williams Brewing baseball hat with your order. Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewers Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, The Practical Guide to Aroma, Bitterness, and the Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus, and Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
Oh, yeah. Beer. All right, we're back. So, Jesse here in the audience from Florida.
Yep.
He had been wondering about lagering.
Okay.
And when you are lagering, does it make a difference to lager with carbonation in the beer? Or should you lager without carbonation in the beer? Should you carbonate? Does it change the process of lagering?
That's an interesting
it's a
question.
very interesting question. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a subtle difference between the two because, well, and it depends on what you consider lagering to be. If you consider lagering to be cold conditioning over a period of time where yeast activity is pretty much nothing, where you've got it, well below 40 degrees.
Right.
And it's just sitting there. And then there is some chemical process that may still occur, albeit very slowly, and settling.
Yeah, haze
that
formation
happens,
settling,
right?
Yeah.
So there's that kind of lagering, and I don't think carbonation really has much effect on that at all.
Well, when you carbonate, the pH changes by 0.02, I believe.
Right. Might have some impact on some of the chemical process, but probably not much, and especially at those lower temperatures. Now, however, should you be of the lagering opinion that lagering is something where you very slowly bring the yeast down, and let's say you're at 40-something degrees Fahrenheit, 45 degrees Fahrenheit,
right?
Cave temperatures 50 degrees Fahrenheit. At August Shell, their lager caves are 50 degrees, right?
Right.
So they're lagering. They used to lager at 50 degrees or 45 degrees. Back in the day, it was quite cold to be at 45, 50 degrees when it is, 90 outside.
Right.
So that's what we're dealing with. Nowadays we think, cold. Well, you're talking 32 or, something. We were talking refrigeration.
Right.
They didn't have that. And so it was very stunningly cold to them to be at 50 degrees when it's, 80 outside.
Right.
So that kind of lagering where your beer is maybe at 45 or 50 degrees Fahrenheit and the yeast still have activity, CO2 in solution at that point, since that suppresses yeast activity, I think that could have a detrimental effect.
Yeah, that I would kind of lean that direction myself. Carbon dioxide, of course, as a waste product of the yeast. More waste product would decrease their activity and reduce any further metabolic activity they would have.
The efficacy of lagering could be impacted. So, in that case, you really wouldn't want to. Even with any yeast activity, colder temperature, you are building up the amount of CO2 that is in solution is going to be greater.
Yeah, at 50 than 60. Yeah. Now that does kind of beg the question, though. I mean, natural carbonation in a cask. If you look 150, 200 years ago, when they were lagering and natural carbonation, how did they do that? Did they actually lager under pressure then? It would take longer, perhaps? Longer lagering times under pressure to maintain carbonation?
Yeah, I think, if you look back at, the reports of like, Anchor Steam and the lager beers and things like that, casks would be quite effervescent, quite active.
Okay.
In Germany, some of the beers are fairly low carbonation. They're more, the ones that are done still in the wood casks and things like that, they tend to be around, maybe 2 volumes.
Okay, yeah.
Not much more than that. Because a lot of those are gravity dispensed, and if you have it at 2.5, it just comes shooting out, and it's more of a problem. So they have it actually fairly low. Interesting. Even British cask ales, what they'll do is there's the top
bung or spile.
Well, the spile, you hammer in the soft spile,
right,
into the sheave, right?
Yeah.
And it breathes, it outgasses the excess CO2, and you let that happen over the course of a day or so and let the CO2 level get down to about 1.5 volumes. Because if you tap that thing early and without doing that, without getting it into the proper condition, the beer will actually, if the cask is lively, it will shoot up the tubing through the beer engine, because those beer engines aren't closed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you can have beer shooting out the swan neck. See how we get into this a long conversation?
Yeah.
We go on like this for hours.
There's a lot of terms that you use there, too.
Yeah.
Right,
swan neck and the sheave and the...
Right.
Yeah.
You're a well-educated man, Jamil.
Well, if it has something to do with drinking,
you've learned it.
I've probably heard it a time or two. So I would think generally now, Jesse, are you lagering cold, below 40 or above 40? Below 40. If you're below 40, I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of, assuming that your fermentation was good in the first place, so diacetyl is reduced and acetaldehyde is reduced, and those compounds are clean, and that's not the thing that you're trying to lager away, then the rest of the process happens without the yeast. And I think just getting it cold and carbonated's fine. I used to lager and condition these beers. I had clean beer. I would just go ahead and cool it down, and then hook up my gas to it and just let it sit for weeks and weeks. And so it'd be nice and perfectly carbonated and clear. And so that's how I did it. I went ahead and did both at the same time. It didn't seem to make a difference. But those are the reasons why you might do one or the other. Oh. Nice detailed answer, I thought.
Yeah. I think we did a good job.
That's what we do. Well, of course we always think we do a good job.
Good job, yes. No.
Yeah, anybody? No?
Seriously, guys, they won't keep working if you don't praise them. I've been dealing with this for years. I have to go in after every show. Yeah. Be like, wow, guys, you just reinvented beer. You're amazing. and they keep coming back. It works.
Well, hey. You get what you pay for. So,
yeah, that's true.
You just keep up that.
I will
keep up that stroking there.
Yeah. What happens under the table stays under the table, Jamil.
Well, it could leak out. That's again, we got the tape down there for the splash zone. You want to stay well back of the tape.
The dog may wander away too.
You guys are making your fan uncomfortable.
Any other questions we got here? I've got one that was emailed in just recently. You can send your emails in, questions, show ideas, high praise.
Is it feedback?
If we get one of those, I'll let you know.
I think I filter those out.
Brew Strong at thebrewingnetwork.com. This is literally minutes ago.
Sweet.
Wow.
Okay. Cutting edge.
I really don't know what day or time it is right now, so I'm going to assume this just came in.
All right.
Hi, Jamil and John. I was wondering what you think the best method is for oxygenating wort in a commercial brewery. Let's see, the method and equipment used to go about it. Some people seem to be keen on inline oxygenation, but I feel there are too many variables to keep in mind to keep dissolved oxygen levels consistent without resorting to more expensive equipment. For example, I imagine flow rates coming out of the heat exchanger could vary quite depending. This guy had a few beers before he wrote this. The flow rate could vary quite a bit depending on the cooling water temperature and intended pitching temperature. I would prefer to have a stone in the fermenter and simply use the same process I used as a home brewer, oxygenating the whole volume of wort using a specified flow rate for a set amount of time. Is this possible? Thoughts? This is Richard from New Zealand.
Okay. Well.
Another interesting question.
Depends on the scale. I mean, the volume that you're trying to oxygenate. I mean, that's why inline is nice, because you oxygenate each liter or ounce.
A given
volume
of beer traveling through the pipe at a given rate.
Yeah. Whereas if it's a large 10-barrel tank, and you have a stone in one piece of it, that bubble stream is probably rising up. Mm-hmm. Not unless you have flow going through that tank to really circulate those bubbles as they're rising up. I mean, I imagine you only oxygenate half of the wort.
Yes and no.
Which I always worried about as a homebrewer too, by the way.
Yeah.
That it was just in the middle of the carboy or whatever instead of the whole thing.
But you would be surprised at how much liquid rising gas moves. I've seen some studies of aquariums and how solid particles move, and how larger objects end up on the top of smaller ones and things like that. And one of the things is the gas that's coming up. It carries a large volume. Just a tiny stream of bubbles carries a considerable volume of liquid. Think of how much liquid is in amongst those bubbles.
Yeah, true.
As that rises, that entire column of wort is rising.
Okay.
And it's essentially like a pump that would pump the beer to the top or the wort to the top, and it's going to naturally go down the sides and mix in. So you get a pretty substantial mixing.
Okay.
The problem with most commercial fermenters, they're all designed in a height width ratio that they're not so wide. If you had a super wide one, I think that this may be more of a concern, not getting enough mixing. But they tend to be taller and skinnier, just because that's more efficient for the brewery, real estate wise. But one of the issues is you can't get a stone in straight up, into the tank. Either you're off to the side and you put it through a sidewall and you're off to one side.
Okay.
That can be okay. Whether you're going to get enough mixing or not, that could be an issue. If you go in through a pipe, like they'll have a a bottom arm. And if you go in through that, or if you go in through a racking arm, the problem is the bubbles tend to collect up into larger bubbles. And then you get large bubbles traveling up through the wort, and that is ineffective.
Right.
You need more surface area. So the finer the surface area, the better that's going to work. So if you had a tank where you get your oxygen stone in the bottom and you could ensure that the bubbles were not collecting up and forming larger ones, if they're coming out individually, in fine bubbles, I think you wouldn't have much of an issue. I think that would be perfectly fine, no matter what the size is. I think you can scale that up, and I think that would scale to a massive size as long as the ratio of the fermenter remained, about average.
See, this sounds to me
about a 0.33. If about the maximum you want to go.
If the premise of his worry was that if I remember right, there are too many variables in the inline aeration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Listening to you guys, it actually sounds exactly the opposite. That there are less variables with an inline aeration because you have a set rate of flow, a set rate of oxygen, and all of the liquid passing through that oxygen. What's that? So there's 3 variables. Whereas with the aeration stone, I just heard you talk about several variables.
Right.
Yes, but so you're right. However, the thing is, when you're starting up, you're casting out your wort from your whirlpool or whatever through your heat exchanger into your tank. Mm-hmm. What he's referring to, the person that was asking the question, your speed varies because you're starting up and you're trying to dial in, a temperature, and sometimes your source water is a little colder or a little warmer, or your wort's at different gravities, which has different heat carrying capacity. So all these things kind of initially, but I think
because you're chilling at the same time.
Right.
Okay.
Because hot wort won't really contain as much oxygen.
Okay.
So. I think, but I still think you're right that that's a little easier because, yes, you get that initial variability, but, that's a little chunk of the entire run. Generally, knockout is, we do it pretty fast, over a barrel a minute.
Wow.
Which is pretty fast.
Yeah.
What would you say is... Give me something to relate that to. What do most people do it in? An hour, half an hour?
Yeah, so a lot of breweries, they'll be be an hour to 2 hours or something like that.
So half a barrel.
We're like 30 minutes.
Okay.
So, but even during that time, it's like it takes a minute or two to get your stuff dialed in, and then it's flowing correctly, and everything looks good. And we have a certain flow rate that we run our oxygen at. We have a certain flow rate that we run the wort at based off of our VFD setting on the pump. And so everything's pretty consistent. It's, the same pipe is the same size all the time. We verify everything by looking in the sight glass and seeing that it all looks correct and it's mixing in well. And you can put multiple sight glasses. You can put one early in the line and then one later in the line, and give yourself a longer line, and then you see your air coming out with your air stone in the first glass. When you get to the second glass, if you see no bubbles at all the oxygen that you have introduced in has dissolved into the wort.
Oh, so you want that. You want to look clear. Okay.
Right, and so you know that since you're putting in oxygen at a given flow rate versus a given time, you know that oxygen is contained in the wort.
Okay.
So you can set that up, and then towards the end, maybe there's another couple of minutes where things aren't perfect, but you're talking about a few percent of the entire run that was not perfect, and the rest was very consistent.
Okay.
So I think he can do the up through the tank as long as. Or, you could drop something down from the top, I guess, as long as, the bubbles are not, grouping up into larger bubbles. I think that's fine. But I think he should not be so hesitant to try and make the inline work.
Okay.
The inline dissolves really well. And, when you're dealing with larger volumes, also, it's all closed loop. So we don't have any exposure. All that's quite nice. But regardless, if you don't have an oxygen meter to measure your resulting oxygen in your tank, you don't really know how much is in there. So what I would urge the guy to do as a commercial brewer, oxygen meters for dissolved oxygen in wort, they're cheap nowadays.
Yeah.
They're what, $150, $300, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nice ones are like $500.
Wow.
They've really come down. Now, you can't measure package oxygen with that. That's parts per billion. We're talking parts per million in the wort oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can get yourself one of these things, and that's really the way to do it.
And how
many you know who has an oxygen meter like that?
The guys at Lamont?
They do.
Yes. There you go.
And doesn't John Blickman have an inline aeration unit for homebrewers too?
He has the inline carbonator.
And okay.
And we have the new Anvil aeration wand.
Okay.
And the missile launching display system.
Yes, facility.
Trade display.
Yeah.
Yes. Our good friend John Blickman. Make sure you go down there. Right down there, you can see Blickman Engineering right at the end down there, blue. There's the missile launching controls and all that. Go by and just say, hey, John, thank you.
You do have one.
They do have inline.
I thought you did. That's right.
And go down there and tell him how much you appreciate that he pays for the show.
That's right.
You get the show for free because that guy's paying for it.
Yeah.
So the least you do is go by and just say, hey, thank you. That's really cool. He's done it for a long, long time now. And if you don't go down there and make him feel good, I think he'll wise up and, cut the funding. Justin doesn't have any money.
No, we keep the wool over his eyes.
This whole thing's going to go in the shitter pretty fast.
I just call him every now and then and talk about guns and shit, and that's all he cares about. If he has someone to talk guns with, he's happy.
I got to go out shooting with him. I think that'll do it.
I'm afraid to, but
he might shoot me, but
yeah, I'm afraid for you.
That could happen. I say things to him sometimes that I don't think he appreciates. All right, let's take another short break. When we come back, we will have more of your questions right after this.
If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or are a new craft beer enthusiast, or you know someone who is, you have got to check out Beer 101. Beer 101 is an online course created for anyone wanting a quick introduction to the vast world of craft beer. Beer 101 covers the history of beer, brewing ingredients and processes, vital stats like ABV, SRM, IBU, and gravity, styles, tasting, glassware, and pairing beer with food. The Beer 101 course is offered by the Brewers Association at craftbeer.com, also home to the truly awesome Beer Style Finder, a visual guide to every beer style. Quickly play with color, bitterness, and alcohol content to interactively explore the entire world of beer styles with a gorgeously designed interface to your favorite beverage. The new Beer 101 course and new Beer Style Finder are only available at craftbeer.com. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer. Hey there, BN Army. Have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-Yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grainfathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. HopTech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Learning to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We are live.
Yes.
At the Homebrew Conference. It used to be NHC, now it's HBC.
Right. I've been signing books that way.
Yes, in Minnesota.
Land of walleye.
Downtown Minneapolis. Yes, land of the walleye. Absolutely.
And moose.
And the moose. They got some lakes.
I haven't had any moose here. I had moose in Norway last month. But
oh, yeah?
Really?
Good. How's the moose in Norway?
It was very good.
How does that compare to the moose around here?
I have not had the pleasure of tasting moose around here.
I'm saying that some of the finest moose, I really think, is the Alaskan moose.
Oh, yes.
It's quite tasty. A little bit more gamey than your Norwegian or your Minnesotan moose.
It's a little wilder in Alaska.
Oh, yeah. I think it's what they forage on. Innocent bystanders, spent grain.
State
troopers.
In Norway, they use Audis.
Yeah. They use Audi, exactly, yeah.
What does moose taste like?
It's very rich. I was having smoked moose heart. So it was a very, very
of course
rich
you
meat.
were.
Yeah.
Palmer. Couldn't just stop at moose.
With a barley risotto. It was very, very delicious, yes.
That sounds good, actually,
yeah.
the way you describe it.
I'll smoke you a moose heart. You just get me the heart, and I'll take care of the rest.
Oh, man. Palmer just shows up all bloodied. Here you go, Jamil. I got this for you.
Yeah. If anybody got a good smoked moose heart recipe out there?
It's probably a book in Minnesota.
I bet you there's a smoked walleye recipe somebody's got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, see? Now we're talking. Speaking of which, so we have a live audience.
That's true.
The thousands. There's how many thousands here at the conference? Like 2,800 or something like that. I think at least 2,750 of them are right here.
Yeah. Clearly. That's why we don't do video on our podcast.
Hey.
They're rambunctious, too.
For an unscheduled show.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good turnout.
I think you're right.
Just saying.
And they brought us beer, so what more can we want?
They continue to bring us beer. And when you bring me beer, I'm very happy to get your question on the air. This is my way of, getting around sponsorships and stuff.
Just getting beer?
Just getting beer.
Yeah. Well, the Northeast Brewers Alliance is pouring here in the hall right now, and they brought us a couple of their sour beers. First one sounded like it was made from a Solera. I think he said they kind of kept it going. I could be mistaken about that. Yeah? A little bit? Okay. Same recipe that they keep pulling it out of the same barrel, basically? Okay. I like this beer a lot. And then they brought us a Flanders, too, which we haven't tried yet.
that is one.
By the way, Jamil, they did say we were allowed to tell them if we didn't like the beer.
Now, is there any walleye?
I really do like the beer, though.
No walleye, okay.
Oh, so you're making me the bad guy? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Here's the thing. It is very, very rare that I have a beer, and immediately through my mind does not go, what things need to be improved in that beer.
Wow.
That's just the way I'm wired. That doesn't mean I won't drink it and enjoy it and think it's a really good beer.
Okay.
But right off the bat, I can tell you 3-4 things I don't think are right.
Okay.
So that's just what I do. I've learned to shut my freaking mouth and not tell everybody
what you're thinking.
What I'm thinking, because then they immediately go, "Oh, hates my beer.
Yeah.
You know, my beer's terrible." It's like, well, no, I'm still drinking it. I'm enjoying it. But, yeah, do you want to know, if you think it's God's gift to beer and flawless, I'm going to disappoint you.
Okay.
Now, there are times when I get beers, I'm just like, my God, that is great. That is perfect. That's flawless. And when I say that, I mean it. Mm-hmm. And I literally cannot find a problem with that beer.
Okay.
So if I ever tell you that, I'm not shitting you.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, this is good. There was a guy, I think he brought me a Munich Dunkel, pulled it out of his pocket. It was like ball temperature. I think it was in, I don't know which conference it was. Maybe it was Oakland or something. San Diego. I don't know. Or maybe it was CBC. I can't really remember. And poured for me. I thought it was spectacular. I'm like, man, that's really good. Do you have more? And he's like, no. And he's trying to get me back to his hotel room or something. But it was excellent. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. So that's all I got to say on that subject.
Okay. So that's your feedback on the
North.
Yeah. I haven't tried the
NBA.
Flanders yet.
Try
that
one. So Mike, who is tired of getting shot at and thinking of possibly opening up his own brewery.
Mm-hmm. Which
I don't know if that was secret. I don't know if you're like your wife is here and going like, what the fuck? You didn't tell me that.
Sorry.
You still may get shot at, but
right. It'll just be a domestic instead of a perp. No, I got your question. That's why I asked in advance, because there's no microphones out there.
Yeah.
We're a little limited budget on this one, working on a quick and dirty. Not limited budget, but it just was not planned to do shows necessarily.
It wasn't, and we spent all our money on our brand new website.
Drinking. Oh,
if
great.
you haven't seen, we launched our new website over the weekend, and now we're broke again. So
there you go.
I brought 3 microphones, and that's what we got. I sold everything else.
It appears to work.
Yeah.
So Mike's question was, you see a lot of these new plastic conicals that are clear.
Yeah.
And, similar to, people use glass carboys or the polycarbonate carboys. They are clear.
Yeah.
What do you think, John, as far as is that a concern about light skunking the hops during fermentation?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in direct sunlight or under fluorescent lights, that could definitely happen. And the main reason I used to talk about in how to brew, to keep your fermenter out of the light was, out of direct sunlight, was not so much skunking of the beer, but just temperature. Yeah, keep from getting too hot. But certainly, if you've got all the hop compounds are there, it's moving around. If you're in direct sunlight, you could skunk it.
Well, and I think
some plastics, are UV.
That's what I was going to say. Is some plastics are much more resistant to UV transmission.
Yeah.
If you're working with glass, it's a much bigger deal. What I used to do is take a T-shirt. Usually it had some sort of beer slogan on it. Not my favorite one, and I would slip the on regular glass carboys. The neck goes on first, and then each of the arms holes, and it would hold it up and. Seal it off from the light, and there you go.
There you go, yeah.
So you could do the same thing on the conicals, and then if you want to see, you just lift it up, like looking under a skirt and, checking it out.
Yeah. Thanks for that association. I didn't know what you were talking about before.
Right. Well, I was trying to give you something you'd be familiar with.
Yeah. No, I got it now. And it happens pretty quickly, doesn't it? That kind of light struck. I mean, I'm not saying, obviously you can take a look, and that's probably fine, and whether you're under the fluorescent lights or not. But, I mean, I think it was Dan Gordon I was talking to years ago who was talking about that, is how very, very quickly, if you take a pint of beer and you're sitting out in the sun, by the time you're finishing that beer, it has skunked.
Yes.
Yeah, it happens. It's the amount of UV, a certain wavelength of light is in contact with those compounds in the beer. That's all it is. The actual transmutation of the compounds to the skunk-smelling
the mercaptans,
is instantaneous.
Oh, okay.
Right? But it's it's not like something is slowly working on it and cooking it. It hits it, it's done. That's it.
I see.
And then, so it's the amount of.
It's the volume of that light. That light in the beer.
I understand.
Is doing it.
So it's probably happening to all of our beer if we're in carboys and such, but it's because the surface area, it's just sort of hitting that surface. It's not penetrating the entire volume of the beer.
Yeah, unless to me it's moving around. Or something.
And the amount of that wavelength of light is minimal in most homes. It's, that's why they say, put it out in the sunlight. You take a bottle like Corona and stick it out in the sun, and man, in moments, it is really skunky.
In moments, it tastes like Corona.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the same thing happens to your beer, but inside you can have a bottle of Corona sitting on the counter, and it just tastes like less skunky Corona.
Okay, so the UV light coming from fluorescent lights, like you mentioned, Palmer, that's a bit less.
Less intensity.
But
okay.
Not like the sun. That's why in our tap room we have a two-door true refrigerator that has a fluorescent light tube.
Oh yeah.
So what I've done is I bought they have a UV stopping plastic sleeve that goes over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I put that on there, and
we did the same at the Hop Grenade for our bottle fridges for that reason.
Right.
Very good.
So it's definitely a concern, Mike, but something that you can get around with, just throwing a shirt or a towel or something over it and giving it good cover.
You can go fancier, too. I mean, that's obviously a great way to do it with things you have lying around the house. But the fast fermenter over there is a plastic conical fermenter. It is not clear. Of course, more beer. You can go get yourself a stainless fermenter if you want to spend some dough.
Get yourself a Blickman.
Yeah, get yourself a Blickman.
Don't be cheap, Mike, is what we're saying. Support our sponsors.
Well, he's going to start a brewery. He's got to be cheap.
Well,
you know about that, Jamil.
Well, you've got to be insane to open a brewery. You can't be – well, all right. Yeah, you got to be cheap.
Yeah.
But you're still going to spend every penny you have.
Yeah.
So you'll be cheap, but you'll spend it all.
And you wouldn't even hire somebody to stand up on the roof for 2 weeks and fix your damn glycol chiller.
Yeah, because it's like $50,000.
Oh,
you wouldn't either. You would whore yourself out on the street corner like 50,000 times to get the $50,000 and do that.
Right. How much do you think the skin cancer is going to cost you?
Well, I still have medical coverage. I think they'll slice them tumors off. I could also take care of that myself. It does not seem that complex. Some Novocaine, scalpel. You can get scalpel on eBay.
That's true.
Yeah, liquid nitrogen.
We'll just do it here at the show. Yeah. No,
this table looks really good.
Jamil, I being honest when I say I think you do an inordinate amount of work yourself at the brewery, whereas other people hire folks to do that. Maybe not the glycol chiller, but everything. Every time I talk to you, you're doing 10 things that I pay people to do.
You live the life of the rich and famous. I live the life of a brewery owner.
Where is your money going? What better use of it than to pay people to do quality work and you live your life?
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not charging enough for my beer. I think, now we have a full lab with lots of nice equipment and a full-time PhD from UC Davis that works in the lab. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So we pretty much put all our money into quality.
Okay.
So that tends to just eat up a lot of money.
I see. All right. Well, I'm just.
I could
looking out for you.
I could cut back on quality and probably make some money.
Well, nobody wants that. Just. I don't know. I just feel like you have a garage full of Lamborghinis somewhere that we don't know about. I mean,
Vespas.
You've seen my used electric car. My used Leaf.
I have, yeah.
My used Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, I do have a nicer car than you, and you should have a much nicer car than me.
It gets me back and forth to the brewery.
Yeah, he won't even. Jamil has his electric car, and when he comes to the studio to do shows, there's a electric car parking spot that's it's about a block away, but you have to pay for it. It's like $2 an hour. Jamil walks 6 blocks or 7 blocks maybe because the hospital down the road has free electric car parking. So he goes there, he plugs in, he walks the 7 blocks to the Hop Grenade because he won't. And by the way, he's there for 2 hours doing the show, so $4. But man, does he save that dollar? This is what Jamil does. I'm not exaggerating, am I, Jamil?
Well, you are because it's 3.5 blocks to the hospital.
They're big blocks.
And by the time we do 2 shows, there's some drinking at the beginning, some drinking at the end. It's a good 4 hours.
Okay.
And so
that's true.
I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm getting a little bit of exercise.
Yeah. Well, you need that. That's good.
That's right.
I just worry about you. That's all I'm saying. I feel like by the time you get bought out, you're going to keel over.
Yes. Yeah. I'll be dead.
Yeah.
And they'll sell it at a fire sale.
We just did the BN, an official BN death pool.
Right. Where was I ranked in that?
Did you fill out your
I did.
So I thought, Bevo,
I thought a day late,
we didn't get. Okay, so that's why. So you got ranked with everybody who didn't turn one in. You all got ranked about 5th. And the doctor basically thought that if you didn't turn one in, you had things to hide. So they used like an equation to just put you right about there. I won.
JP turning in, asking us for this, 36 hours beforehand, while I am on the roof getting myself sizzled.
Right.
It really wasn't top priority.
Well, we're going to do it again. Don't worry, because it obviously moves depending on our state in life. But you guys are around the 5 mark.
I guarantee I'm going to die before you. I mean, that's just a fact.
I was given a 3-to-1 odds of dying before anybody on the Brewing Network.
Before Tasty?
Yeah, but Tasty also didn't fill it out.
Yeah, Tasty.
He refused.
Tasty is like 2-3 steps away from dying. He could move his leg, and that would be the one.
Yeah.
That dude could drop at any moment.
Who do you think got
Palmer here? I mean, Jesus Christ. Hey, the way he eats walleye, he's going down.
Yeah.
Omega-3s, man.
Omega-3s.
Too many omega-3s.
He's eating smoked moose heart.
Yeah. Who do you think got least likely to die at the BN?
Bevo.
Bevo, yeah. I think something like 52-to-1 or so. 45-to-1.
Now, I think that, again, incorrect. I should be doing the rankings because I think she is, one too many rum and cokes away from, alcohol coma and death. Vomiting up and aspirating her own sputum and dying.
That is the most likely way we would find her dead,
right.
I think. You're right.
She's going to be dead in a pool of vomit. So, I'm just saying. Now, Steve, he's
Porno Steve also did not.
He's 4 STDs into, wasting away.
Yeah.
I'm saying he didn't get that skinny from, not
exercise.
having some viruses going on in that walking corpse of his.
He is a little pasty, too. He's kind of a walking corpse.
You pick up a few things on set in Texas is all I'm saying.
All right. Well, when we redo it next time, Jamil, we're going to have you weigh in on the rankings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People, you should give me a shot at ranking everybody. Okay. As well. I have opinions on all you people.
Here's what we'll do. We'll get the doctor's list and your list, and we'll compare. We'll see how you guys did together.
We'll compare.
They come up with some new questions too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, has the doctor actually met you people in person?
Well,
actually spent a few minutes with you and would know that you're all pretty much going to die here anytime?
She hadn't prior to the show, but she did come in to the show.
Oh, yeah.
And then meet us then. And
she was like,
there was maybe some adjusting.
She was totally shocked at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah. These people are going. She was probably glad that you're not her patients, that's for sure.
I would think so, yeah. She's a cardiologist.
Probably worried about collecting off everybody.
Steve and whatever he's got. Yeah, she was very nice, and it was done pretty professionally, and I think we got
as professionally as the BN
can do. And I think we got a pretty accurate look. I was going to...
Latex was involved, I see.
I wanted to get a shirt that just said #1 on it to wear around NHC, because listeners who are big fans and have listened to all the show, they would know it. Everyone else would just think I'm really conceited.
Did you feel like you won?
I did feel like I won,
exactly.
yes.
Exactly, I understand.
I came home, I told Kate, I was like, Kate, I won. She's like, what do you mean? I'm most likely to die. I totally won. I was proud of it. It's an achievement. Any little thing.
Hey, you couldn't win an award brewing.
That's right.
You won an award in the death pool.
That's right. #1.
That's a winner.
At the BN, I got to be #1 at something, and I think I found it.
You will be always #1 or #2 in my book.
Thank you, Jamil.
Let's take one last short break, and when we come back, we will wrap up with questions, comments, whatever, hopes, dreams, crashed hopes and dreams, right after this.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you, and we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and a Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer. Whether for yourself or as a gift, when you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
Like the Lance Armstrong of the beer world. Except for that nut thing. This is Brew Strong.
All right. We're having a wonderful time here at the Homebrew Conference. The greatest beer event in the world.
Mm-hmm. Lots of existential conversation.
And with all our friends.
Yeah.
And we do think of you all as our friends. The people who listen to the shows, read the books, all that stuff, and make
even
the effort
Luke
to come
over
out and say hi. We do like you and enjoy being with you. It's just why we're here.
Indeed.
David from North Carolina, he was asking a very specific question of you, John.
Well, it had to do with the aeration.
When you take your anvil wand and stick it in the carboy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like to, for aeration purposes, do you like to just leave it in there? Do you like to wiggle your wand around? Do you move your wand up and down, in and out?
I wiggle it around. I feel that it is not the flow. It is not the size of the wand.
Is the motion of the wand.
It's the motion of the wand and the amount of area that you cover with it. That you gotta move it all around, get all areas,
get the angles.
Yep.
Deep in there.
Yep. Cover all the sides, all corners. Go over it again if you have to.
Is that true even after hearing Jamil's description about there being sort of a convection even that occurs? Are you going to change your method now that you've listened to that?
Yeah, because you can use natural convection and wait, an hour for that to do the job. Or you can wiggle it yourself and do it much quicker.
That makes sense.
Results half the time.
Yeah.
I think you're totally mistaken, my friend.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to say that wiggling the wand is not the way to go.
Okay.
I'm like
you're going to go for what?
I think you insert the wand. Maybe you pull it out a little bit. You insert it back in. Changing depth.
Oh, changing depth throughout the
amount of penetration into the wort is maybe the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, the aeration at the surface is going to generate a lot of bubbles at the surface. A foaming action, as it were.
Yeah.
But I think leaving it in deeper is going to be more effective in the long run.
Well, I would agree that deeper is better.
I hate you guys so much.
But do you do a clockwise wiggle or counterclockwise?
Well, I start out with clockwise, and then I'll
or you just randomly kind of just slapping the thing around in there.
No, random tends to disrupt the rhythm. It's better to have a more rhythmic,
a smoother, more rhythmic motion.
Yes.
Are you taking notes, David? I was the same way. I tended to go clockwise and tended to, kind of swirl around the bottom. Of course, if your
couple of deep thrusts to reach the corners.
If your wand is really thick and the carboy neck is really small, sometimes it's very difficult to fully wiggle all the way to the sides because you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The interior is wider than the opening.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, the.
If you can put a bend in your wand, then you can get around that. Yeah.
Right. Well, some wands do have a bend to it. I mean, I've seen wands with a bend. Some of them are like left-hand bends. Some are right-hand bends.
Yeah.
Some are more corkscrew.
I was trying to hold it together.
So, I mean, but, a real skinny wand that's flexible.
True, yeah.
Not really rigid, kind of a little bit more soft and floppy. You can, if you use like a piece of tubing, if you snap yourself off a fresh piece of tubing and you drop that in there, I used tubing for quite a while, so that's kind of floppy.
Yeah,
and I would, kind of flop the tip here,
fling it out there,
flop the tip there,
yeah,
as kind of a method.
I see.
I've done that.
But if you're using a real hard,
rigid
wand,
wand,
you can't do that.
Yeah, then it's got to. You're really you're
shake
limited.
weight.
You're limited by the opening, and getting it in the opening and the angle allowed by that opening.
This is why I'm with you, Jamil, that you put it in deep.
Yeah.
You pull it out a couple times.
Yeah.
And then you put it in deep.
Yeah.
Why mess with all the rest?
And then everything comes out the tip. You're good.
That's right. Oh my God.
No?
I'm crying over here.
We're just trying to answer David's question.
You're
and
right.
Fully, explore. This is how we do it on this show.
You to blame, David.
We go, deep into the details. We fully explore. It was like Jesse's lagering question. I thought it was an excellent question. I think the best question of the day, and we really kind of went through. And ended up into gas conditioning and everything else and all that. So
thorough. If you're nothing else, Jamil, you are thorough.
We are thorough.
Yeah.
Indeed, yes.
We
specialize in thorough.
We get in there and go deep.
Yeah. Well, to go more in depth, for those of you who are here and want to see more of the Brewing Network shows, we're going to be doing a Dr. Homebrew or two tomorrow. And I'm thinking maybe one of your shows tomorrow, too, as opposed to right now, because we've been here for a while.
Sure.
If you guys are around to do that.
I'll be around.
So probably around the same time. And we're broadcasting live all week from the National Homebrewers Conference. What is it now?
HomebrewCon.
HomebrewCon, thank you. And, of course, we will be broadcasting the awards ceremony on Saturday, like we always do. Proud to bring that home to you. I remember back in the day when Jamil used to be up on that stage when we would broadcast the awards.
Well, yeah. Back in the days where I was wiggling my wand and
fun and fancy free.
Yep.
No responsibility.
Those were the days. Yep.
Yes.
So we'll be here all week, and we hope you guys have some fun too.
We'll be here all week. And, try the veal.
Let's try the moose. Actually, I hear.
Try the moose. Try the moose. Smoked moose heart.
Yeah.
Tip your waiter.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, everybody. If you enjoy this, make sure you go down to, there's the Blickman booth right there. I want you to go down there, tell them how much you appreciate it. Give old John Blickman a big kiss for me. Or like grope his butt or something. I don't know. Whatever it takes.
He's there waving his arm. Yeah.
There he is. And tell him how much you appreciate that he pays for the show so you don't have to. You can also support the show by going to brewerynetwork.com/store. A lot of goodies in there. I hear they're having a special. It's limited quantities, but 50% off on, what is it?
Windsurfers.
Windsurfers?
I think it was Windsurfers.
Windsurfers this week.
Okay.
Right. BN branded Windsurfers. It's got the Hop Grenade logo on it. It's just amazing.
50%
top
off.
of the line, 50% off. You can't. Amazing. Limited quantity. So get in there.
You buy
and
now.
Get those. Buy now.
We'll give you a second one.
We'll give you a second one. So it's like, you get in for free.
We do have a new website, too. Go check it out. BrewingNetwork.com.
Yes.
Jamil's face is on there. Palmer's face isn't on there yet because he didn't send me a photo like I asked.
Oh, crap.
But the website looks great despite Palmer's missing from it. So go check it out, and the store is there, and you can donate there, and you can shop Amazon there, and you can buy a Homebrewers Association membership there, and you can buy BYO magazine there. There's a lot of stuff there.
You can spend your life's fortune on it. Don't open a brewery. Just spend all that shit on the Brewing Network site. And
there you go.
Till then, everybody, brew strong.
Brew strong, everyone.